The moon hung low over the village of Kuntu, its silver light casting long shadows across the quiet land. The people of Kuntu were asleep, their huts dark and peaceful. But one man was still awake. Kwame sat by the river, sharpening his spear, his muscles, hardened from years of battle, tense with each scrape of stone against metal. He was a warrior, the best in Kuntu. No enemy had ever defeated him. No beast had ever overpowered him. But tonight, his heart felt uneasy. He stared at his reflection in the water. The rippling surface showed his strong face, his piercing eyes, his braided hair. But then, something moved. His shadow. It did not follow his movements. It twisted, stretched unnaturally. Kwame's breath caught. He turned sharply, spear ready. Nothing was behind him. Only the whispering trees. Only the wind. Then a scream pierced the night. A woman's cry. Kwame leapt to his feet, sprinting toward the village. His warrior instincts kicked in. He had heard fear in that voice. When he reached the center of the village, people were gathering, their faces pale with terror. In the middle of the crowd, a man lay motionless on the ground. His eyes were wide open, frozen in a look of horror. His chest had deep, dark gashes, as if clawed by something that wasn't human. Kwame's stomach twisted. "What happened?" he demanded. A young boy pointed with a trembling hand. I saw it. It was a shadow. It came from the darkness. It attacked him and then disappeared. The village fell silent. A shadow? Kwame turned to look at the ground. His own shadow stretched beside him. Still, silent, waiting. A shiver ran down his spine. He did not know it yet, but his own shadow had come to life. And it was hunting. Kwame stood frozen, his heartbeat drumming in his ears. The villagers whispered among themselves, their voices filled with fear. "A shadow cannot kill a man," someone muttered. "But we all saw it," another argued. Kwame tightened his grip on his spear. His mind raced. A shadow had done this. Shadows were nothing but shapes cast by light. They had no form, no life. But then he remembered the river, how his shadow had moved on its own. He swallowed hard and stepped forward, kneeling beside the body. He recognized a man, Kojo, a traitor known for his cunning ways. Kwame's eyes narrowed. Kojo was not a good man. He had cheated many villagers, lied to many elders. Had his shadow judged him? The thought sent a chill through Kwame's spine. Just then, Baba Kofi, the village elder, stepped forward, his wrinkled face troubled. "This is not natural," he said in a low voice. "Something dark is at work." The villagers murmured in agreement. Kwame clenched his jaw. He needed answers. He needed to understand what was happening before more people died. "Everyone, go back to your huts," he ordered. "Do not walk in the dark alone." The villagers obeyed, retreating into their homes, their doors shutting tightly. But Kwame did not return to his hut. Instead, he stood under the moonlight, staring at his shadow. It was still now, but he knew the truth. It was watching, and it was waiting for its next prey. Kwame did not sleep that night. He sat outside his hut, staring at the ground, watching his shadow. It did not move. It stretched long in the moonlight, just as it always had. But Kwame knew something was wrong. Something unnatural had awakened. And then, another scream. Kwame jumped to his feet, his spear in hand. He dashed through the village, his heart pounding. The scream had come from the far end, near the blacksmith's hut. When he arrived, villagers were already gathered, their faces twisted with terror. Another body lay on the ground. This time, it was Badu, the blacksmith. His lifeless eyes stared at the sky, his face frozen in horror. His chest was slashed open, just like Kojo's.